I am Shivaram, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering. So, today we are going to see about the working of 4-stroke diesel engines. So, engine basically an engine converts heat energy into mechanical energy. So, based upon combustion, engines can be classified into two types, external combustion as well as internal combustion. Apart from that, based upon various criteria or based upon various parameters, engines can be classified into so many types. For example, based upon fuel used, engines can be classified into petrol engine and diesel engine, and based upon the number of working strokes, it can be classified into 4-stroke engine and 2-stroke engine, and based upon the method of cooling which we employ, we can classify it into air cooled engine as well as liquid cooled engine or water cooled engine, as well as based upon number of cylinders, we can classify engines into single cylinder engine and multi cylinder engine. So, now we are going to see about the working of 4-stroke diesel engines. So, actually diesel engines are compression ignition engines. So, we are going to see about the working of 4-stroke diesel engines. So, before getting into the working, we will see what are all the main components present in a 4-stroke diesel engine and what are all the function of those components. So, after seeing about the components and their functioning, you will get into the working of 4-stroke diesel engines. So, you can see here a diesel engine, it has a piston cylinder arrangement. So, it has a piston, a cylinder, and it has a piston which is connected to crankshaft by means of a connecting rod. The whole arrangement of the piston, connecting rod and the crankshaft is enclosed inside a engine cylinder. So, at the top you can see valves which are used for control, you can see here the valves which controls the opening and closing, and the opening and closing of the inlet and exhaust valves are being governed by camshaft. So, at the bottom you can see camshaft as well as crankshaft, and this is a engine which has a sidewise camshaft which was used in earlier days, but nowadays we get engines with overhead cam. So, here you can see a rocker arm which is connected to camshaft via a push rod. So, when the cam pushes the push rod, the rocker arm in turn opens and controls, opens and closes the valve. So, thereby camshaft controls the opening and closing of the valves. So, this is a overhead cam. So, you can see here a cam and a valve. When the sharp lobe of the cam pushes the valve opens. When the sharp lobe of the cam moves aside, the valve automatically closes. So, thereby the camshaft helps in opening and closing the valves. So, usually if an engine cylinder has two valves, an inlet valve and an exhaust valve, a cam will control the opening and closing of inlet valve. Other cam will control the opening and closing of exhaust valve. So, when the valve needs to be opened, the sharp lobe of the cam will push the valve head, thereby opening the valve, and when the sharp lobe of the cam moves aside, the valve will automatically close. The piston has 3 rings. So, you can see here the top 2 rings are compression rings and the third ring is a oil ring. So, compression ring. So, first let me explain the function of compression ring. So, compression ring are used to seal the products of combustion within the combustion chamber. So, when combustion is taking place, the entire products of combustion should be sealed within the combustion chamber. Combustion chamber is nothing but the clearance volume of an engine cylinder. Basically, an engine cylinder will have 2 volumes. The volume swept between top dead center to bottom dead center is stroke volume or swept volume, and when piston is at top dead center, the volume between the cylinder head and piston head is said to be clearance volume, or in other words you can call it as that is the combustion chamber of a engine. So, when combustion is taking place, the compression rings seals the products of combustion within the clearance volume, thereby the products of combustion when combustion is taking place does not skip to the stroke volume of the engine cylinder. And the third ring is oil ring. So, oil ring is exclusively meant for lubrication purpose. So, through oil rings the lubricating oil comes out and it lubricates the components of the engine cylinder, and after lubrication the oil is scraped off back to the oil sump. So, this is the function of oil ring and compression ring. Apart from this, compression ring also reduces the friction between the piston and cylinder valve, that is, since there is a continuous reciprocating motion of the piston, from top dead center to bottom dead center and from bottom dead center to top dead center. The piston, when it collides with the walls of the cylinder, either piston may get cracked or the walls of the cylinders may get cracked. In order to avoid that, the piston rings, that is the compression ring, prevents the collision of the piston with the walls of the cylinder, thereby preventing the piston as well as the walls of the cylinder from getting damaged. So, these are all the function of oil ring and compression ring. So, you can see here basically whether it may be the compression ring or it may be the oil ring. Actually, they are not complete rings. You could see a minute space in between them, which means that the ring is not a complete ring, because when the engine is working, the temperature inside the engine will be very high, due to which thermal expansion may take place. If the ring is a continuous ring, the ring will break. So, if the ring is not a continuous ring, when required it will expand and when required it will contract. So, due to the in order to prevent the rings from breaking, these rings are not made as a continuous ring. Instead, there is a slight gap in between them, so which makes them suitable for thermal expansion. Actually, you can see the piston is connected to crankshaft by means of a connecting rod. Actually, the connecting rod has two ends. So, one is the smaller end, the other one is the bigger end. The smaller end is connected to piston and the bigger end is connected to crankshaft. So, you can see the smaller end of the connecting rod is connected to piston by means of a piston pin or wrist pin, or it can be also called as a gudgeon pin. Similarly, the larger end of the connecting rod is connected to crankshaft via crank pin. So, at both the ends you have bearing. So, the main function of a bearing is to reduce friction. So, where the larger end of the connecting rod is connected to crank pin, you have bearings to reduce the friction in between crankshaft and the connecting rod. The piston undergoes reciprocating motion, the crankshaft undergoes rotary motion. So, in other words, I can say that the reciprocating motion of the piston is converted into rotary motion of the crankshaft by means of the connecting rod which connects the piston and the crankshaft. The working of a 4-stroke diesel engine has 4 strokes. So, first stroke is suction. So, let me explain first what happens during suction stroke. In a diesel engine, during the suction stroke or intake stroke, first air enters inside the engine. So, when air is entering inside the engine, the piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center. So, when the piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center, the entire of the cylinder is being occupied with air. So, coming to the second stroke. Second stroke is nothing but compression. As the name implies, during the compression stroke, the piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center. So, already air which has entered inside the suction stroke is present inside the engine cylinder. So, during the movement of the piston from bottom dead center to top dead center, the air which is already present inside the engine cylinder is being compressed. So, during the compression, the piston moves from bottom to top, thereby compressing the air which is already present inside the engine cylinder. So, this is what happens during the second stroke. So, let me recall the first two strokes. First stroke, during suction, air enters inside the diesel engine as the piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center. During the second stroke, the piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center, compressing the air which has entered during the suction stroke. By the end of compression stroke, the fuel injector present in the diesel engine will inject the fuel in atomized condition. So, atomized condition, how does the fuel injector inject the fuel is? The fuel injector at the tip, it has a nozzle. The function of the nozzle is it increases the velocity of any working fluid which is used in it. So, the nozzle present in the fuel injector injects the fuel in atomized condition. So, already air that is present in the engine comes, already the air is present in a compressed state. The air has been compressed due to the movement of the piston from bottom dead center to top dead center. So, by the end of compression stroke, as the fuel injector injects the fuel in atomized condition, the fuel in atomized condition comes in contact with the compressed air. The compressed air is at high pressure as well as it is at high temperature. Third stroke, expansion stroke. So, when air in compressed state comes in, when air which is at high pressure and high temperature comes in contact with the fuel in atomized condition. The fuel in atomized condition is in the form of fine droplets. Next, what happens is the fuel droplets, due to the high temperature and pressure of the air, the fuel droplet vaporizes. As soon as the fuel droplet vaporizes, combustion gets initiated, and due to the combustion, the piston is forced to move from top dead center to bottom dead center, and fourth stroke is nothing but exhaust stroke. So, by the end of third stroke, combustion has almost completed, and unburnt gas, unburnt fuel particles or products of combustion, that is nothing but exhaust gases, will be inside the engine. So, during the exhaust stroke, the piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center, thereby pushing all the exhaust gases which are present inside the engine to the outer atmosphere. So, you can see the exhaust gases coming out of your vehicle through silencer, that is exhaust gas which is present inside the engine passes through the silencer and it undergoes suitable treatment, and then it is being sent out to the outer atmosphere. Actually, the exhaust system present in any vehicle, whether let it be a car or let it be a bike, it will have catalytic converter in it, which further treats the exhaust gas coming out from the engine, and after treatment it is being sent out to the outer atmosphere. So, basically the four working strokes are suction, compression, expansion and exhaust. These are all the components present in a 4-stroke diesel engine. So, you can see here a cylinder, inside a cylinder you can see a piston arrangement. Piston is connected to crankshaft by means of a connecting rod. On the top of the engine cylinder you have two valves. So, one valve is inlet valve and the other valve is exhaust valve. So, above the valve you can see a cam which is used for controlling the opening and closing of valves. The cam which is present at the inlet valve opens and closes the inlet valve, and the cam which is present in the exhaust valve opens and closes the exhaust valve. And apart from that, you can see a blue color structure on either sides, which is nothing but a coolant which is used to cool the engine. So, the coolant cools the engine. Actually, there is no direct contact between the contents present inside the cylinder and the coolant. The coolant takes the heat that is generated from the engine, thereby protecting the engine from getting damaged due to overheating. So, as we have earlier discussed, we can see the smaller end of the connecting rod is connected to piston and the larger end of the connecting rod is connected to crankshaft, and you can see top dead center and bottom dead center. The volume between top dead center to bottom dead center is stroke volume, and the volume between the piston head and cylinder head when piston is at top dead center is nothing but clearance volume. So, we get the total cylinder volume by adding stroke volume and clearance volume. So, actually you can see here clearance volume is nothing but that is the combustion chamber for an engine. When combustion is taking place, the compression ring seals the products of combustion within the combustion chamber or clearance volume. So, apart from that, you can see here piston pin which is used for connecting the smaller end of the connecting rod with piston, and a crank pin which is used for connecting the bigger end of the connecting rod with crankshaft. At the bottom you can see a oil sump where oil is present for lubrication. Here the type of the lubrication which we employ is splash lubrication. Every time when the piston rotates, oil gets spilled on the walls of the cylinder, thereby lubricating the components present inside a engine cylinder. This type of lubrication is splash lubrication, which is suitable for single cylinder engine. But whereas for multi-cylinder engine, that is usually cars have multi-cylinder engine, bikes have single cylinder engine except a few bikes. So, cars actually employ forced feed lubrication where you have a separate oil pump for pumping the oil from oil sump to the engines, to the many cylinders, that is to the cylinder arrangement which is present inside a engine. So, this is about the various components present inside a engine. First stroke is suction stroke. Due to the partial vacuum that is created inside the engine cylinder, the air from the outer atmosphere enters inside the engine and the piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center. So, you can see first the cam pushes the inlet valve, As soon as the inlet valve opens, air from outer atmosphere passes through the air filter, and from air filter it will enter inside the engine. As soon as it enters inside the engine, the piston also moves from top dead center to bottom dead center. As soon as the piston reaches the bottom dead center, the suction stroke or the intake stroke comes to the end, thereby leaving the air, thereby leaving whole of the stroke volume with air. So, this is the second stroke, that is compression stroke. During compression stroke, the piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center. So, you can see here the air that is present inside the piston is getting compressed as the piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center. As the piston compresses the air, the pressure of the air increases. As the pressure of the air increases, the temperature of the air will also increase. So, the piston compresses the air and moves from bottom dead center to top dead center, and by the end of compression, the fuel injector injects the fuel in atomized condition. So, already air is present at high pressure and high temperature. So, when air comes, when fuel in atomized condition comes in contact with compressed air, then what happens is the fuel particles, it vaporizes. As soon as the fuel particle vaporizes, combustion begins, and as soon as combustion begins, the piston is forced to move from top dead center to bottom dead center, which is nothing but which is the third stroke. So, you can see here, due to the heat released from combustion, the piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center. That is, due to the heat released from combustion, the piston is forced to move from top dead center to bottom dead center. So, this is the third stroke. Coming back to the fourth stroke, by the end of combustion, you have exhaust gases inside the engine, unburnt fuel particles inside the engine. So, they have to be sent out. So, for sending them out, the piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center, thereby pushing the exhaust gases as well as the unburnt fuel particles to the outer atmosphere. So, you can see here the piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center. At the same time, the exhaust valve is also open, thereby the exhaust gases which are present inside the engine cylinder are being sent out to the outer atmosphere via exhaust valve. So, thereby the exhaust gases which are present by the end of combustion is sent out to the outer atmosphere. Let us have a quick glance. First stroke is intake stroke, followed by compression and fuel injection, followed by combustion and expansion, followed by the last stroke is nothing but it is exhaust stroke. So, this is how a 4-stroke diesel engine function. So, we have seen the working of a 4-stroke diesel engine, but still it is a theoretical working. We have seen that when the piston is at top dead center, inlet valve opens, and when the piston reaches bottom dead center, the inlet valve closes. But practically speaking, the practical working of a 4-stroke diesel engine will be entirely different from the theoretical working. In the same way, we have seen, during the expansion stroke, piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center. When the piston reaches bottom dead center during the expansion stroke, the exhaust valve opens, and by the end of exhaust stroke, the exhaust valve closes. But still, that is only by the theoretical working. During the practical working, the opening and closing of inlet valve and exhaust valve entirely differs. That is, during the practical working of any system, what happens is the opening and closing of inlet valves as well as the opening and closing of exhaust valve, the time is entirely will vary. It will not be same as the theoretical cycle. The practical, the practical working of a diesel engine and the opening and the valve timing will entirely differ from the theoretical working. So, theoretically all the 4 strokes are equal strokes. That is, the stroke begins when piston is at top dead center and stroke ends, the process ends when the piston reaches bottom dead center. But practically speaking, you can see a few processes will take place for longer span of time and a few processes will take place for shorter span of time. For example, suction and exhaust will take place for longer span of time and compression and expansion will take place for shorter span of time. So, now we will discuss about the actual valve timing diagram of a 4-stroke diesel engine. So, first stroke, as per the theoretical working, inlet valve should open at top dead center, but during the practical working you can see inlet valve has opened 25 degrees before top dead center. Next, inlet valve as per theoretical working should close at bottom dead center, but you can see during the practical working it closes 30 degrees after bottom dead center. And so, as per theoretical working, inlet stroke is suction stroke is only for 180 degree, but during the practical working it varies. Similarly, by the end of compression stroke the fuel injection starts. Exactly speaking, the fuel injection starts 5 degrees before top dead center. So, before the piston reaches the bottom dead center, the fuel injection process starts. Next, so you can see here the fuel injection stops, that is the fuel injection does not occur at a single point, instead it stops as soon as the piston crosses the top dead center. So, as soon as the fuel injection begins, so after a certain span of time combustion also begins. Due to the combustion, piston is forced to move from top to bottom. As per theoretical working, exhaust valve should open at bottom dead center, but here during the practical working exhaust valve opens before top dead center, before bottom dead center, and exhaust valve should close at top dead center, but it closes after top dead center. So, you can see here the theoretical working and the actual working is entirely different. So, having a quick glance, so suction, the inlet valve opens before top dead center and the inlet valve closes after bottom dead center, and followed by the fuel injection which begins 5 degrees before top dead center, and combustion expansion goes on, and as expansion is going on exhaust valve opens 45 degrees before bottom dead center, and exhaust process begins there, and exhaust process it goes on, the exhaust valve closes actually 15 degrees after top dead center. Here we have already seen that the actual valve timing diagram of a diesel engine differs from the theoretical case. We have seen that inlet valve opens before top dead center and inlet valve closes after bottom dead center. Actually, the reason why inlet valve closes after bottom dead center is when the inlet valve closes after bottom dead center, the piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center. As the piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center, the air which is already present inside the engine cylinder produces a ramming effect on the piston, a ramming effect on the valve, that is inlet valve, thereby making the inlet valve to close. And coming back to the third stroke, actually as per the theoretical working, exhaust valve should close at bottom dead center, but during the practical working we are closing the exhaust valve before bottom dead center. Actually, we are reducing the length of expansion stroke. So, expansion stroke begins when at top dead center and it should end at bottom dead center. But since we begin the exhaust stroke earlier by opening the exhaust valve before bottom dead center, it literally means that we are reducing the length of expansion stroke. Out of the 4 strokes, expansion stroke is the stroke where we get power, and due to the power which we get from expansion stroke, a vehicle is literally moving. Then why do we cut the length of expansion stroke? The reason is after combustion the pressure inside the engine will be very high. So, if I open the exhaust valve exactly at bottom dead center, instead of moving my vehicle, the power that is generated inside the engine cylinder will be used in overcoming the high pressure that is present inside the engine cylinder. So, we opened the exhaust valve earlier, thereby reducing the pressure inside the engine. So, this process of reducing the pressure inside the engine by opening the exhaust valve earlier is called as blow down. Similarly, we should close the exhaust valve at top dead center, but we close the exhaust valve after top dead center. So, you can literally see here for a certain span of time inlet valve as well as exhaust valve are opened simultaneously. The the period where inlet valve and exhaust valve are opened simultaneously is called as valve overlapping period or scavenging period. The use of this scavenging period is that inlet valve and exhaust valve, both the valves are opened simultaneously. So, the fresh air which is entering inside the engine for a diesel engine will push out the exhaust gas which is already present inside the engine via exhaust valve. So, during scavenging, the exhaust gases which are already, the exhaust gases which haven't been pushed out to the outer atmosphere are pushed out by the fresh incoming mixture. So, this is what happens during scavenging period or valve overlapping period. So, this is why the actual valve timing diagram of a 4-stroke diesel engine entirely differs from the theoretical. Basically, in a petrol engine, pre-mixing of air and fuel takes place, but in a diesel engine, pre-mixing does not take place. So, this is a main important difference between a petrol engine and a diesel engine. Thank you.